Oh, yes.
Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm bringing you a review for the new Marvel Legends She-Hulk figure. Now, that might be a bit generic because there have been several. This figure specifically is a green recolor of the She-Hulk figure that came in the Super Skrull Build-A-Figure wave. It contains all the same parts as that toy, with an additional, more calm, neutral-looking face. So, if you've seen my reviews before, you know how this goes. We're going to take a look at She-Hulk's packaging, then we'll open it up. We'll get a good look at the figure itself. We'll check out her posability, her accessories. Naturally, I'll be doing plenty of group shots and comparisons today. And then at the end of the video, I'll give my final thoughts. So our She-Hulk comes in your standard Marvel Legends packaging. There's no Build-A-Figure call out or anything. She's just like a singular release all by herself. You can see at the top a symbol of a Hulk fist. So at least she has some sort of special stylings. You get to see the She-Hulk logo down below, and then we see the figure. She comes packaged with the new calmer-looking head, as well as closed fists, but she also has optional open hands and the angry hair flowing in the wind head that the gray She-Hulk came with. We turn the box to the side. We see there's some nice artwork of the character, looking very angry, like she's about to smash something. And then on the back, we get some other artwork of her. Looking very, very big and very sinewy. It's a nice piece of artwork. I think they went a little overboard on the muscles just because she looks kind of halfway between her normal appearance and then like the super bulky appearance she had in the comics for, several years. So like some weird in between. I don't know if it's artistic license or just a perspective thing, but her arms look absolutely huge in this. Still great artwork, though. Really phenomenal. You get to see her name way up in the corner here, and then over here, we get her flavor text. That reads, Jennifer Walters mutates into She-Hulk, a massive, muscled green hero with boundless strength and the will to do good. So because this is just kind of a generic figure of She-Hulk, the flavor text is pretty fitting. It's just a generic background bit of info about the character. And yeah, aside from the great artwork, that's really all there is to see. So fairly simple packaging. Again, she's just her own standalone release, mainly being released through online retailers like Pulse or, Big Bad Toy Store, anything like that. So now it's time to go ahead and open this thing up. Right now we get to see She-Hulk out of her packaging. We get her accessories down here by her feet. So we get her alternate head with the hair kind of blowing in the wind, more angry face, the glowing eyes. This is the one that actually comes from the gray release that this toy is based off of. And we get the more open grasping hands, which are also from that release. So the toy comes packaged with just a regular kind of calm She-Hulk head, hair just kind of laying flat. And this is a new piece for this release. She's got the fists from the old release. And now checking out her posability, she has the ball joint and hinge combo in the neck. Oh, that hinge is really tight and kind of worries me. I'm afraid I'm going to break something one day. She has universal shoulders that ratchet around every which way. She oddly has bicep swivel and then also elbow swivel. I don't know why both. Seems pointless. I would have preferred a bicep swivel and a double elbow, but that's what we got. She has a single elbow, as alluded to. She has universal wrists. She has articulation of the upper torso, which appears to be heavily ratcheted. It ratchets front and back, and then side to side. So, I mean, it might be a ball joint. I'm not sure. She has universal hips. She has a very soft ratchet, thigh swivel, double knee bend, then your normal ankle articulation. Now, oddly enough, something I'm not really crazy about, her legs, or at least this part of her legs, is cast in black plastic with green paint, which means that whenever you pose her in a certain way to where kind of the inner workings of the joint show, they show black, which feels very unnatural. You think they'd be green. Like, why is the inside of her knee black? Doesn't really make much sense. So I would have preferred, the kind of a swap of the plastic and paint colors. But other than that, she's pretty solid. I will say that she doesn't balance well in a neutral pose. It's really hard to get her just standing straight up without her teetering either forward or backwards. She's doing it now, of course, now that I'm saying something. But I have had difficulty with this toy as I've been waiting to finish this review on shelves with her just like falling over. So I don't know if it's just because she's big and tall and has relatively small feet. I'm assuming that's what it is. maybe a little bit of weight distribution because there's not much on like the back of the foot piece. The heels don't extend back very far, so I don't know. I will say the shirt is a nice piece. It's separately molded from the torso. I'm not sure how they got it on there. I guess you would have to like pop the head and the arms off and like just kind of set it on top. Which the head I know comes off. The arms I'm not so sure, and I don't really want to break them. Plus, I don't think there's. I mean, you're not going to see anything under there other than like Barbie boobs, I guess. So no reason to take that off anyway. But it is a cool piece. All right, let's check out the alternate parts. So we'll pop the regular comm head off, if I can. Here we go. Put the more angry head on. They are a tight fit, I'll tell you that. There you go. Wow, that is very tight. Okay, let's give her the grasping hands. All right, now we get a little more action-oriented posing here. Let's kind of pose her up too, as far as legs and everything. Get her a little more dynamic looking. Let's see. Bend this one instead. Why's her ankle turn so far? Don't turn that far. All right. So you get something like this. Now she looks like she's ready to do battle. Looking like she's kind of raging out a little bit. Probably the fact that she doesn't balance well. But this is really cool looking. It makes for a very nice display piece. And I could see people just wanting this as like a static, almost like a statue. Because this shows, She-Hulk when she's actually fighting and really getting amped up. You can see how her eyes are, starting to glow. Now, her powers, they kind of change over time. She doesn't always have like a rage thing. Sometimes, it's just a purely voluntary transformation and she just kind of gets bigger, a little more muscular. Sometimes she goes like full Hulk mode where she starts, speaking in broken English and just gets like bigger and stronger the more angry she gets. I mean, it kind of fluctuates. And based on the package art, I'm not sure exactly what version of Jen this is supposed to be because, the package art hinted at a very, very muscular She-Hulk. This one, it doesn't really match the artwork at all. It's more of her like standard physique. So I don't know if that's just because they wanted to reuse a buck and she actually is meant to be bigger and this is meant to be like one of the more muscular She-Hulks, or if the packaging was just artistic license and this is just a regular She-Hulk. Can't really say for sure. But either way, she does look really cool. I like both variations of the head. I'll probably use the neutral head for display just because it's unique to this release, because I would like to get the gray version eventually. But either one is very, very nice. Now here's a nice group shot of Jen with her cousin Bruce Banner, aka the original Incredible Hulk. And obviously, massive size difference between these two. Now the Hulk size does vary based on, the interpretation and everything, but he is generally seen as superhumanly large. And Jen, while she is very, very tall, especially compared to her normal human form, she's still not outside of the normal realm of human height. She's, like 6'7" or something like that. So, very, very tall for a woman, but still, kind of normal size. And then Bruce, he just gets all this bulk. So they're two very different characters. And, despite the surface similarities being green and muscular and strong, they have very different dynamics to their character arcs. And I prefer them that way personally. I'm not a fan of the whole just turning She-Hulk into a female version of Hulk that they do every once in a while in the comics. Hulk's his own thing. He's kind of got that niche, right? He's the big rage monster and speaks in, the childlike English and has a whole just buttload of mental trauma to deal with. And I like, Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk, being something very unique. I love the whole idea of her being this superpowered lawyer, right? Where she can kind of exist seamlessly in the real world or the superhero world. Whereas Bruce Banner, as the Hulk, he's potentially a danger to those around him, so he leads a bit more of a double life. And I really like the contrast between them. Now, these two figures I do think look very, very nice together. I do feel that the shade of green used for this Hulk could match her a little better. And this is, the 20th anniversary Hulk. There are other releases that use the same body and just different head sculpts and stuff that have a shade of green closer to this. So he may not be the best match if you want to display them together. If you want for like a lighter green Hulk, you may look at, I think 80th anniversary is probably better, or the Wolverine versus Hulk set. Not that either of those options are very cheap right now because they've both gone up in price significantly, whereas this one is still, somewhat normal price. But you do have options if money is not really an issue. And here's another fun shot of the two Hulks just raging out, just channeling their inner Gamma Beast. And I'll have to say, I have a lot of fun with these two, right? They're just big, fun characters that are, very extreme with the big old muscles, the large size, the crazy ripped pants. They're just fun to look at and they're fun to pose. So I enjoy having both of them. And I am looking forward to collecting other Hulk-like characters just to add to this whole thing. As of recording this, I do have a compound Hulk that I've yet to open, but I would like a proper red Hulk as well. Maybe get some gray Hulk in there. I have a leader who's unopened, which is part of that Gamerverse Abomination wave. And I don't know if I really want to display the Gamerverse Abomination with these guys. I prefer like the more comic-based one. But, we'll see how that goes. That wave is a little bit older, and some members of that wave are pretty expensive to track down, so we'll have to see. But I am enjoying this so far, and I think they're really great toys that are only better when they're complementing each other. And this completes our look at the newest comic-based Marvel Legends She-Hulk. I have to say I'm a big fan of this. I think the gray She-Hulk is pretty cool too, but the green look is obviously far more iconic for the character. There was an older one with like her typical superhero suit, but the baff on that toy, not the baff, the buck on that toy was really not great. Had like those old weird joints and everything. I think this is a far better figure. The paint apps are great. The layered, like torn up shirt is just really awesomely done. Proportions are good. I guess maybe one thing I don't like about the figure, and it's a small thing, is just the whole like bicep swivel and elbow swivel. It seems very redundant, and I wish they would have taken that, engineering, that budget and everything, and given her a double elbow bend. Would have been nice to give her like the ability to just curl her arms a little bit tighter. But it's still really nice for what it is. I'm very happy with it. Balancing her can be a little hard because she is a tall, heavy figure with relatively small feet. But you can get some pretty good poses going, like you see here. And even more creative people could do a lot better, I'm sure. So, yeah, I think it's a good figure. I think it's worth picking up. I got mine from Pulse. I think it's been on sale here and there. But even at just standard retail price, I think she's pretty solid. She's a slightly lesser value, I would say, than the old gray one. Because while she does include an extra head, which is new, the gray one included not one, but two arms for the Super Skrull baff that her wave was, centered around. Had like a regular size arm and then the big old extended like clear one. So I think overall there's probably a little bit more budget put in that one than this toy. But I don't think it's like a huge difference, right? She's not lacking. She has all the main accessories that one came with, plus a new head sculpt, which is a very, very nice head sculpt. And if you don't really want like an angry, sneering She-Hulk toy and you want one that looks, looks a little more neutral, I think this is a good option. So if you pick it up, I don't think you'll be disappointed, especially, now that we got the She-Hulk show going on. She's going to be a pretty well talked about character for a while. And you may want to snag this figure before the price of it goes up, now that I think of it. Of course, that is just how I feel about this She-Hulk toy. So now I want to know what you guys think of this. Is this a good She-Hulk figure to you? Do you prefer this one over the gray one or over the old like jumpsuit one? Is it something that you would pay like full retail price for or only get on clearance? Or do you not like this? Maybe you don't like the character. Maybe you don't like the way this came out. Do you prefer another version of She-Hulk over this figure? Any and all feedback is always welcome in the comments section. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to toss it a like. Let YouTube know you want to see more stuff like this. If you do want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you always get a heads up when I post something new. I thank you for joining me for this look at the new Marvel Legends Green Edition of She-Hulk. And with all that said, I will see you next time.